Today I want to have a real, honest chat about something we rarely talk about openly. Things you should never tell your family. Now, before you get all defensive, just hear me out. This isn't about tearing anyone down or airing dirty laundry. It's about protecting yourself and keeping the love alive in your family relationships. You know how sometimes you feel like you want to be brutally honest? So honest that it might hurt, maybe even permanently change things? But here's the deal. While honesty is important, there are certain truths you're better off keeping to yourself. Trust your gut because your instincts know when to speak up and when to stay silent. 1. Don't tell them you're over it. Yet. Look, I get it. There are days when you feel completely fed up with your family's constant nagging or judgment. But saying, "I'm done with you," or "I don't care about you anymore," isn't the answer. It might feel like you're finally being honest, but it can burn bridges that you might regret crossing later. Instead, learn to hold that truth close. Channel your energy into setting boundaries rather than destroying relationships. Sometimes silence is the best way to protect your heart until you're truly ready to talk things out calmly. 2. Don't lay out every grudge or regret. We all have our baggage, those past hurts, disappointments, and moments of betrayal. But constantly reminding your family of every mistake they've ever made, that only creates an environment of blame and resentment. Instead of bringing up old grudges, focus on healing and moving forward. If you need closure, write it down, process it privately, or talk it out with someone you trust outside the family. Saving those harsh words for a moment of weakness will only reopen wounds that have started to heal. 3. Never tell them they're not good enough. It's tough when you feel let down, but saying something like, "You're never good enough for me," or "I'm better off without you," only sows permanent division. Your family may not be perfect and sometimes they make mistakes. But remember, they're also your foundation. Instead of using hurtful words that cut deep, try to focus on what you need from them. Respect, understanding, and space, without devaluing who they are. Trust me, your future self will thank you for not burning those bridges. 4. Don't say you regret being born into this family. We've all had moments when we feel like we'd be better off without our family's constant drama or criticism. But telling them, "I regret being born into this family," is one of the most painful things you can say. Family isn't always the easiest to navigate, but it's also where you learn about love, forgiveness, and resilience. Even if your family isn't perfect, they're a part of you. Accepting them, even the parts you wish were different, is key to growing as a person. So keep that regret to yourself and focus on how you can rise above the negativity. 5. Don't confess all your deepest insecurities. There's a fine line between sharing your feelings and oversharing your insecurities. While it's important to be vulnerable with those who truly care, unloading every single fear or doubt on your family can sometimes lead to misunderstanding or even pity. Your family might not always know how to handle raw, unfiltered emotions. Instead, choose your moments wisely. Share when you feel safe and supported. And remember that not every emotion needs to be broadcasted. Let your actions speak for the confidence you're building inside. 6. Don't tell them they always get it wrong. Ever been in a situation where every time you bring something up, your family immediately shoots it down by saying, "You're wrong again," or "You never understand"? It stings, right? But responding with, "You're always wrong," or "I'm right and you're not," only escalates the tension. Instead, try to have a calm conversation where you express how their constant criticism makes you feel. But save the blanket statements for when you're alone with your thoughts. Remember, every relationship has its ups and downs, and sometimes choosing your battles can preserve peace. 7. Avoid telling them that you'd be better off without them. It might seem like a quick way to vent your frustration, but saying, "I'd be better off without this family," is a line that's nearly impossible to take back. Even if you're hurt, remember that your family is often your first support system, even if it's flawed. The thought might sting for a moment, but it usually leads to regrets later on. Focus on what you can do to improve the relationship instead of shutting it down completely. 8. Don't use their secrets against them. Family secrets can be explosive. If you're tempted to use something they've told you in confidence as ammunition in an argument, think twice. Trust is the foundation of every relationship, and once it's broken, it's hard to rebuild. Even if you feel wronged, holding onto the urge to expose their secrets will only create more pain for everyone involved, including you. Some things are best left unspoken, even if they burn inside. 9. Don't tell them you're tired of their opinions. I know it can be exhausting when your family constantly tells you what to do, who to be, and how to live your life. But saying, "I'm sick of your opinions" outright can shut down any chance for understanding or compromise. Instead, acknowledge that you have different perspectives and gently remind them that, while you appreciate their concern, you need to make your own choices. It's all about asserting your independence without sparking a full-blown rebellion. 10. Don't say that you're done with family gatherings. Family gatherings can be a mixed bag, sometimes joyous, sometimes stressful. But if you bluntly announce, "I'm done with family gatherings," you risk isolating yourself permanently. Yes, they might be overwhelming at times, but remember that these gatherings are part of what makes your family unique. If you need a break, that's okay. But frame it as a need for some personal time, rather than a rejection of your family. It's all about balancing your space with your love for them. 11. Don't insist on changing them. One of the most common and toxic things people say is, "You need to change, and I can't stand who you are anymore." Change is a personal journey, and no one can force it upon someone else without causing resentment. Accept your family for who they are, with all their quirks and faults, or if it's too hard, set your boundaries and focus on your growth. Trying to force change can backfire, leaving everyone hurt and misunderstood. 12. Don't blame them for your own happiness. It's tempting to point fingers and say, "My family ruined my life," when things aren't going well. But placing all the blame on them not only robs you of your power, it also prevents you from taking responsibility for your own happiness. Your life is your own, and while your family influences you, you're in charge of your own decisions. Instead of laying the blame, focus on how you can create a positive space for yourself, regardless of the chaos around you. 13. Don't compare them to an ideal. Every family has its flaws, and no one is perfect. Telling your family, "You're not as good as my ideal family," sets an impossible standard that will only lead to hurt feelings. Instead, recognize that every person, including those in your family, is doing their best with what they have. Focus on the love and support they provide rather than what they lack. It might not be perfect, but it's uniquely yours, and that's something to cherish. 14. Don't dismiss their feelings even when you disagree. It's easy to get frustrated when you think your family is overreacting or being irrational. But telling them, "Your feelings don't matter," or "You're overreacting," can cut deep. Everyone's emotions are valid, even if you don't fully understand them. Instead, try to listen and acknowledge their perspective. It doesn't mean you have to agree, but showing empathy can prevent unnecessary conflict. Save your harsh words for moments when you're calm enough to discuss things without escalating into a fight. 15. Don't say things you'll regret later. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, think before you speak. In the heat of the moment, you might be tempted to say things that feel true in that instant. But once the words leave your mouth, they can't be taken back. It might seem cathartic in the moment to unload all your anger and hurt, but those words can linger and cause lasting damage. Give yourself a pause, a moment to breathe, and consider if what you're about to say is something you'll be okay with in the morning. Wrapping it up, at the end of the day, family is complicated. They're the people who know you best, flaws, strengths, everything in between. And while there might be moments when you're tempted to say something hurtful, remember that some things are best left unsaid. It's not about bottling up your feelings entirely. It's about choosing your words wisely, preserving the relationships that truly matter, and protecting your own emotional well-being. The next time you feel that urge to say something harsh, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this going to bring me peace or more pain? Chances are you might find that silence, or a gentle, thoughtful response, is worth more than a rash comment. Relationships with family are built on a foundation of shared history, love, and sometimes complicated emotions. The wisdom here isn't about suppressing your truth. It's about understanding that timing and delivery matter. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself and your family is to hold back the storm until you've found a way to communicate with care. Remember, every time you choose kindness, restraint, and empathy over anger or hurtful words, you're not only preserving a relationship, you're also nurturing your own growth. It's about recognizing that you have the power to shape the kind of family dynamics you want, even if it means sometimes keeping certain truths locked inside until you're ready to handle them. So the next time you catch yourself on the verge of saying something you might regret, remember these points. Reflect on the value of silence and choose your words with care. It might just be the key to maintaining the balance and love that makes your family unique, even if it's far from perfect. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If any of these thoughts resonated with you, drop a comment below with your own experiences, or the one thing you've learned about holding back those harsh words. And if you found value in this video, give it a like, Share it with a friend who might need to hear it, and subscribe for more real, heartfelt insights. Remember, protecting your heart sometimes means knowing what not to say. Stay thoughtful, stay kind, and most importantly, stay true to yourself. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.